Good morning and welcome to GTW Talks. As many of you may know, we celebrated Women's History Month with the Girls to Women program this month, introducing the Girls to Women Women's History Month speaker series. We started off the month and throughout the month had many women from the community that came into all of the schools or many of the schools to speak directly to the girls all month long. It was an exciting time this month, and we wanted to close off Women's History Month with a very, very special guest who is with me right now, Symana, She Speaks.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for having me, Shelley. It is a
Absolutely.
pleasure. It really is. And of course, I'd come out of retirement for you, and I'll come every time you call me because you always make it worth my while. I love the babies. I love giving back. And girls have to become women if we have anything to do with it. They don't have any other choice. So if we can participate in that and help foster that in any way, I would love to be a part of it for today, this year, and forever.
Symana, as I said, you and I have had many conversations leading up to this, and as I also said earlier, we are closing out Women's History Month, and I wanted to get your perspective and just for you to share with our audience what Women's History Month means to you.
I like to kind of shoot off my hip, and when I think about it, I have to think about it from my own personal experience.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so when I think about my life, without the women in my life, I would not be the person that I am. I was reared by strong women who knew the Lord and were not ashamed to tell you and everyone else about it. They believed in all the things that God-based faith led you to believe. You help your community. You reach out for those who are beneath you. My grandmother, my mother who was in the audience today. These are women who got out there and did it. Went to work, raised children, did it all, and did it with a smile and with very little complaints. And if I was talking about my big mom, I would say zero complaints. The woman never complained. Yeah, so
Yes.
that's my vision of a woman, to be that kind of person. That when you leave here, you have left a mark. I say when you enter a room, you should leave it better than you found it. And they entered this world and left it better than they found it.
So I've had the pleasure of being out in our schools this past month, and we spoke on many different women, and I specifically challenged the Girls to Women students to talk about women that we don't usually hear about, and we had a wonderful time with all the speakers that came out and delivered the messages with all the girls at the schools, and it was fascinating to hear what some of the girls' perspectives were on Women's History Month, and just hearing them say, women, we are important, and we are special, and we are beautiful, and we hear a lot of those common affirmations. Well, I do when I go out to the schools, and I will say this month, I've sat among some very articulate, intelligent young ladies from 5th grade on up, and just their response to celebrating Women's History Month has been phenomenal, and just owning who they are as a female, and being a part of the Girls to Women program in general. So this is really special for us. So Symana, I am holding a book that you wrote,
Yes.
and it's called Symana, She Speaks Love.
That's correct.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that? We are among so much talent
Right.
within the Cincinnati Public School district, and can you talk to us a little bit about what it was like to write your poetry and just being an author at this point?
Well, I'm a product of Cincinnati Public Schools, so it's an honor to have to be sitting here talking about me writing a book. I did, however, not do as others have done and went on to graduate. I did what I decided to do, which was drop out. I became a teenage mom. I'm able to smile about those things now. I later went back and got my GED. I'm an alma mater of Mount St. Joe College. And one day I'll graduate from there too, if I feel like it, because I'm a woman and we can do different things, that I learned along the way. So it took me a while to believe that I could write a book. I didn't feel qualified because of those reasons that I just listed. You have to have graduated college, at least high school, to be an author.
So they say, right?
So they say, but I sit here having proved that wrong. And I celebrate the Lord for this. It was a gift from God. I was able, when I was younger, I never spoke a lot. I stayed in the background. I cried a lot now, but I never spoke a lot. But one day I started writing, and it was my godsend. It saved me. It literally saved my life.
Can you share with us a little bit of your journey becoming a spoken word poet, artist? What did that look like for you? And can you think back to maybe your first moment on stage?
Oh, yeah, because it was my outlet. And years later, they started doing this set called Cafe Chin Chin downtown.
Cafe Chin Chin?
Yeah,
Yes.
and I went down and got on the microphone, but I hadn't gotten that bug yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At least it was just a milestone for me to do it. You know what I mean? And I think that was enough. I started going to a lot of poetry sets, and then years happened, children, jobs and all of that. So I left it alone. I thought probably 20 years, maybe. 20 years, and I had started getting migraines. I was working at some charter schools here locally and started experiencing migraines, and I said a simple prayer: Lord, before I go, can I go back to my first love? And that was poetry.
Symana, I saw that you've opened up for celebrities such as Johnny Gill, I think,
Yeah.
Erykah Badu,
Yes.
Fantasia,
Yes.
one of my favorites.
Yes.
And I think even Al Sharpton, I
Yeah,
read, right?
yeah, that's
right.
correct.
What was that like for you?
All of those experiences, just like this when I'm nervous. Before I go, I'm nervous. But I have to say this. I experienced all of those experiences because someone believed in me. Someone saw something in me. Like you said, you came to a show. I have two great friends who have made sure that if there's an opportunity for someone to be spotlighted, they make sure the light can shine in my direction. So I have to say that. Yeah, but I was nervous. I was nervous for every time I perform. Now, the one thing that Erykah Badu told me backstage is if I ever lose those nerves, then I should stop doing poetry because it'll keep me honest.
I believe that.
At each performance, I'm nervous. Yeah, it's just
Yes.
an opportunity to take the craft and show it to it, because when they come for Johnny Gill, they're not here to hear your poetry. So it's a gift, it's a blessing
Well,
that
I
they
would be
receive,
there to
right?
hear your
That they receive me so well. So yeah, this
Yes.
city has shown me nothing but love, and I do appreciate it.
You mentioned you're nervous, and I again, like, I sometimes get nervous when I'm speaking, and I've been really talking to some of our girls about that. I may call on them when I'm out in the classrooms with them at their meetings, and I'm the one to say, no, stand up, be confident, there's no reason to be nervous. But someone once told me that if you weren't nervous, your heart's not in it.
That's
You
correct.
just want to deliver.
That's
And
correct.
one thing I can say is I've always seen you do that. And I would never guess that you're a nervous presenter or speaker. So you hide it well.
Good.
My name is Desi, and I am a fan out in the audience. It's very nice to meet you and speak to you in person. I was at the Girls to Women talk show in the fall, and you became one of my favorite poets at that show. That was the absolute best poem I've ever heard in my life.
Wow.
So
thank you.
yes, yes, I was very excited to be here and witness that. My question to you is, what are the stages of writing a poem, and how do you develop a poem? Because I know, sometimes it may cause writer's block. How do you deal with that?
For me, there are no stages. Every poem is different, and you'll find that if you start writing, and I suggest that everyone at least gives it a go. Just write down your thoughts, what you're feeling. Sometimes those things that are going on in your head and you're walking around and that continual thought keeps coming. Sometimes if you write that down, it'll birth the poem. It's just that simple sometimes. And then sometimes you'll want to write on a subject and nothing will come. So for me, I just allow it to be what it is. It's a gift from God. I didn't create this. I don't write. I look back at some of the poems and think, did I write that? Really? Did I write that? It's just that gifted. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that it's nothing you don't work towards. You try to write a little bit more. And I do dictionary searches all the time. So if I get an idea, I'll go to the dictionary. I'll do old school type things. I like things in my hand. So it just varies for me. It varies for me. Yeah.
Yes, I like that. That was one of my questions, was do you do a lot of research?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do. I like to be, and something to spark an interest. I'm one of those. I'm a deep diver. So if it gets me, I'm going in. Yeah. So yes, definitely.
And also, what age did you notice that you had this gift?
Ooh, I would say probably 12-ish. Yeah, about 12-ish. Yeah, I knew that I would write songs in my little head. I'd be running around the neighborhood and things. I thought they were songs, but my voice indicated that they weren't. They had to be poems, because if I sang anything, everyone's going to leave. So yeah, my songs became poems. Yeah, so about 12.
I love that you were able to find how to express yourself through your words.
Yeah.
You do it so well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you read my heart. I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Thank you, Desi, for the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I know I mentioned earlier that we may be able to hear something from Symana. So tried to keep everyone in suspense, but she definitely agreed to
definitely
perform for us today.
Yes.
And I want to hear this fire.
Alrighty. Well, I'm ready to deliver it. Let's all hold hands. Okay. I want to go to jail. Put big cookie money on my books and forget about bail. I swear I'm ready to be kept by the state. I'll plead guilty to whatever if it's not too late. The Kennedy assassination, I did that. I was the one on the grassy knoll. I pulled the trigger and never told. I'm guilty of bringing not only sexy but stupidity back. Don't need a get out of free jail pass, just lock me up and paint stripes on my. I want to go on trial. I've been feeling this way for quite a while. I want to stand before a jury of my peers and tell them of my woes, my hurts, and my fears. Maybe then I can be understood. Was never a hoe, just opened my legs when I should have stood my ground. How profound hindsight is to the heart. Please lock me up and throw away the key, or at least write me a broken heart's decree. Make it a law so no one can call me out of my name without knowing my full story, including all of its pain. Yes, I was pregnant at 14. Being an outcast to my family became my routine, but I still bled red. Could have chosen better, but I opted for self-hatred instead. Is there room in your jail for me? If not, that's not fair, because you've already incarcerated me with your judgmental stares and self-righteous labels declaring me a slut each and every time I chose to give it up. But what have I told you? In that moment, his hold was enough to wipe away my self-disdain for never measuring up. I want to be judged by your honor and speak on behalf of my past. I want to be shackled and chained in bindings as tight as my eternal pain. I want to be represented in a court of law, heard as I keep it real and raw. I want to bear my darkest memories, then hope you would be fit to judge me. I want to take the witness stand, hold up my hands, and swear to speak truthfully as I bear my scars in hopes that you will then include me in your circle of greatness where mistakes are never made and grown-up little girls don't have to be ashamed or afraid. I want to be sentenced or allowed admission into your exclusive places where everyone deserves love and my indiscretions aren't the first thing that's always spoken of. I want to take the defendant's seat. Have you all look at me deep inside my eyes and decide for yourself if I lie when I say life has had a time with me. Molestation, teen mom discrimination has molded who I've come to be. I want to have my liberty in jeopardy since folks already declared me unworthy and a nobody. I'm already serving a life term. It would seem from the moment my daddy released I was hung. The delivery room sealed my doom and taught me how to take a licking. My clock keeps ticking, but at the same time standing still. My will has been broken on my words. I'm choking because my reality is too scarred to be spoken aloud in a crowd that has lynched those greater than me. But bring it on, because I've never been free. Find a noose that fits my crime. Cover my eyes since justice is blind. Bind my legs and tie a rope over my head if you're already too late for me and my crimes deserve the death penalty. Don't toss and turn over my demise, because we did this. Don't declare a mistrial, just throw the switch and put us both out of our misery since my crimes deserve the death penalty. But before I go, I'll give birth to my dreams and my screams. I deserve that much. I'll write on my cell walls the depth of my hurt. I'll bellow that my innocence wasn't lost, it was taken. I'll kick the bailiff as I commit the greatest treason and shout that I'm a product of a judicial system that's never been fair. A world that needs to see how much you got before they decide to care. This whole court is out of order, swinging gavels and throwing rocks in glass houses, just giving my damn speedy trial, stand and scream guilty aloud, so this whole world will see what you think of me and my lot. And as the current flows, my scroll will scream, is that all you've got? As my head falls, seemingly defeated, I'll rise in the afterlife, recreate my plight. I'll ascend again as the queen of my dreams. And when it's my time to judge, I'll be woman enough, compassionate enough, forgiving enough, God-knowing enough to do so in love. That's that piece. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Symana.
You're so welcome. I love you.
That
All right.
was powerful,
Thank
as
you.
I knew it would be. Thank
God
you,
is
thank
good.
you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to close out with acknowledging what this year's Women's History Month theme was, and it was hope and healing, Symana.
Hope and
And when you
healing.
hear those words, you know, many of our young girls, they need to be encouraged right now, not just right now, but always, right? So when you hear those two words, what can you speak to the girls who will be watching in terms of maybe your own, you know, just briefly, personal experience on hope and healing?
Well, when I hear hope and healing, I immediately think that that's all of our stories. You know, people start thinking you're isolated in your thoughts, that it's just you, that you're the only one with those thoughts, you're the only one with that lifestyle, you're the only one in that household, you're the only one that's going through the kind of pain and situation that you're going through, and that's not true. Keep hope in yourself and know that there are others out there that are like you, and if you're able to in any way reach out to anyone, you'll realize that you're not alone. So hope is a huge thing for me, and I try to always, if I'm not anything, I'm always hopeful. I'm
Yes,
always
ma'am.
hopeful, and I stay healing. So it segues right into the next one, right?
High five
High
on
five on that. Come
Okay.
on. Yes, because we have to stay healing. Every scar eventually heals if you stop picking at it. If you allow it time to heal everything that you've gone through, there is an opportunity for healing, and I am a witness. I have contemplated every dark thought that you can have. I've been in a lot of the dark places that you would never understand, you would never believe. And I tell people, and I told this to Shelley, that I feel like I can go from the crack house to the White House and fit in. And I think that's how we should live our lives, knowing that in any of those situations, if we were placed there, there's an opportunity to provide hope for someone and healing for someone. So take advantage of them.
Thank you again.
I love
Symana,
you.
she speaks. Thank you so much. Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.